As many of you have heard, we are giving away our F30 335, the car that basically founded our channel and most of you know us by. But that doesn't go without a little bit of issue along the way, if you know what I mean. Because it is a BMW, there are a couple issues that I need to address and button up before we give the car to one of you. Now for issue number one, we have an electrical gremlin, which is very common in BMW. When I press the start stop button, we'll just start it, what the heck. If you watch the screen here, keep watching. Keep watching. Oh look, we have air conditioning. Great. Let me just turn this up. Oh crap, it turned off. There's something going on where this likes to turn on and then turn off. And then here it is, it's back. Great, we have a little bit of AC and it's gone. As you can see, I have the dash a little bit apart. And my first thought was maybe it's not plugged in all the way. So I unplugged it, I plugged it back in. We did that about 8 times. We tried chasing some wire, seeing if anything is pinched, and we can't figure out what it is. So that is issue number one. Issue number two, no warning tones. Not only do I not have warning tones, I don't have any tones at all because I don't have the right amp in the car. So I got a call about 6 months ago from a friend who said, hey, I shorted out the Harman amp in my F30 335. Do you have a way to get them? And I said, no, but you could just have mine because, well, I don't really drive the car and I'm gonna keep it forever. So being that we are giving away the car now, I went online and I bought a replacement Harman amp, but I didn't realize that the F80 Harman amp was different than the F30, so I bought the wrong one. So now I need to work out a way to get a replacement one. Thankfully, Straight Six Auto Parts has the part that I need, and they were willing to swap me this. I initially bought this from them. I said, hey guys, I screwed up. Can we swap? And they said, yes, absolutely. So they are coming in clutch for the amp. Now, while we're talking about the trunk, I probably should put the carpets back in, so that's gonna be something we're gonna need to tackle. But not before I fix the rear camera. What happens is, well, let me just show you. So when I start up the car and I put it in reverse, ready? Nothing, nothing, wait for it. Wait for it. There it is. Wait. Now this is an issue that actually came up when I did my NVT Evo retrofit, and it's never really worked the same since I upgraded from a CIC system. So I figure what we're gonna do is we're gonna work with Bimmer Geeks, see if it's a coding issue, if it's a hardware issue, and honestly, if we can't figure it out, we're not gonna let this car leave without a backup camera, so we'll just throw in a BimmerTech. Issue number 4, as you can see here, I have some markings on my MST intake. This is the first MST intake for the N55 F30 ever in the United States, which is pretty cool. And well, it and my Seibon full carbon fiber hood, well, they don't like each other. So what I'm gonna have to do, you can see that my intake is hitting my hood here and here. So I'm going to replace this piece with a new one. So the new owner is going to get a brand new intake with a new filter. And I'm going to grind down a little bit on my hood here so that you don't have the issue that I had. And the last issue is, I don't think this window has ever gone down the entire time I've owned the car. Given that I don't ride in the back seat, I never really noticed, and I tried to put this window down 3 years ago and was like, huh, the window doesn't work, that's weird. So I am going to replace the motor and or regulator in this to make sure that it goes up and down. Now other than that, I have some other little odds and ends that I need to touch up, but I am gonna leave some of the quirks, like this amazing GoPro mount that's gonna come with the car, so you can get some cool driving shots. But I will say, there is one more issue we need to talk about. Somebody accidentally backed into the i4, but it's not that big of a deal. They're just gonna pull it out and respray it. We thought, while we're there, I'm gonna see if they can paint my strut brace because as you can see, it looks pretty dingy from being on the car for a couple years. And I think it would really tie together with the white roof. But truthfully, I'm not really sure. I didn't tell them that I was going to bring it along while they had the paint out and all. So I don't know if they're gonna do it or not. If they do, great. If not, we're probably just gonna get a powder coating. It's time to drop the strut brace and the i4 off at the body shop and then come back to chase the electrical gremlins. All right, we have come across another small issue. As you can see here, the battery is at 18%. Basically, we're gonna have to do this part later because the car didn't charge and I don't want to drop it off to a body shop if it's going to be there for a week or two. I don't know if they have a charger or not. So I feel like I have to give them the car with a decent amount of charge. So maybe we can get this thing up to like 50 or 60%. This way they don't have to worry about the battery dying. So let's go chase those electrical gremlins. It is time for troubleshooting. So as you can see, it's still going off and on, driving me nuts. I'm gonna start with basics and then I'm going to get more and more involved, make sure that everything has a solid connection, check out the wire. If I have to pull out the head unit, I'll do that, check the fuses. And then if we have to run to ISO, we can go to that route, but I wanna see if I can solve it here before we get software involved. So let's party.
All right, so
Not that the head unit affects it, but I don't see any other like loose wires or anything behind. Everything looks to be plugged in. I mean, maybe it's a fuse. Let's test some fuses and see if any fuses are shot. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna test all the fuses in the car because maybe the back window doesn't work because of fuse or something like that. So if you have a multimeter, you put it on the continuity. If you touch the two little terminals on a fuse and you hear a beep, it means you're good. If nothing, it means there's some kind of break or disconnect. So while we're here, let's just test every fuse in my F30. All right, so all of these fuses appear to be okay. Now I'm going to check the ones in the footwell where the front electronics module is. I just feel like I need to find at least one fuse that doesn't work. All right, every fuse works, so plan C. All right, so I was messing around with the FEM module. Everything looks like it's seated. People are saying that it could be this plug. Everything is fully seated when I do it. So let me just open this up, double check that these really are fully seated. I mean, the pins all look fine. All right, so Isaac from Bimmer Geeks is actually going to remote in and use some other tools that I don't have access to see if he can figure out what the heck is going on with this thing. All right, we actually charged the car. This time we are 52%. So we're gonna take the electric car over now with the brace. Hopefully they'll paint it. If not, it's not a big deal. And then we have to go to the warehouse and grab another cable from Bimmer Geeks and then head back, and then hopefully we can figure out this issue. I'm talking to Isaac over at Bimmer Geeks. He logged into our other computer, which worked flawlessly. We have some issues with some of the connections under here, so he gave me some homework to do. He's got to run out for a bit, but basically I have to figure out what I'm looking at. A95. Where you at, buddy? We didn't even unplug these. After ripping this thing apart way further than I wanted to, I think this thing is fouling up something. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to see if we can get some kind of reading out of them. All right, so right now we're getting 11.8 volts through these wires, which sounds like this actually isn't the issue. So this means that the unit is at least getting powered, even though it's not consistently staying on, which makes no sense. All right, after 4 full days of troubleshooting this thing, it was driving me to the point of insanity. So I called my friend Chris, who happens to be a master mechanic for BMW, and he came over and took a look. We went through everything over here. We went through everything over here. We went through everything everywhere, and we couldn't figure it out. We logged into official BMW ISTA. Still nothing. We couldn't figure it out until he had a thought. You see, he was well aware that we installed a dash and seats, and he thought, you know what, might as well just try unplugging the modules. And of course, it wasn't where we were looking, it's where we weren't looking, and it was the seats. We figured out that there's a bad module in the driver's seat, which was causing issues. Now, Chris is way smarter than me, and he is very good at anything BMW, and what he did is he was tracing all of the CAN lines and noticed that the CAN lines went from the FEM, from one of those plugs we were messing with, all the way to the driver's seat module. Something in the seat and the module was not happy and was causing the air conditioning to glitch and come on and off about every 15 seconds, which was super weird. But the good thing is that we fixed it, and as you can see here, look at that, it works, woohoo! But what doesn't work? That. What the heck? Somehow, some way, something happened and now the screen doesn't work. You know, it's really funny. I've had this car for like 5 years and I had very, very, very minimal issues, and I think this car has been crazy reliable. When I first got the car, it had a super common leak, the oil filter housing gasket. Besides that, really the only other issue that I had was a rock hit my auxiliary cooler, which basically spewed out all of my coolant. So that couldn't have been prevented. The gasket could have been prevented. And other than that, those are really the only issues that weren't caused by me. So I am back after 5 days of troubleshooting this thing to figuring out what the issue is. Now, we did have the head unit in and out and in and out a lot of times trying to figure out stuff. We were going through all the different wiring. I disconnected the head unit completely. I reinstalled it. We did mess around with some of the coding to see if that was some kind of issue. Nothing seems to be working. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to start with the most basic of the basic, and I am going to start by replacing the LVDS cable and see if this is gonna fix my issue, which I'm hoping and praying it does, because I am done with BMW electronics for a little while. It's been a very frustrating couple weeks. All right, moment of truth. Oh, that's not a good sign. Let me try to do a reset. Reset is you hold this for 30 seconds. Let's see if something comes back to life here. Not only is this cable not working, it's now doing less than what it did before. I wonder if my NBT Evo went out. All right, so today's plan to get these electrical gremlins out of the car. We know that there's something funky with the seat module in this F80 seat, so I pulled out the original module from the original seat to this car in hopes that everything's to be much happier. Now, we do have a little issue where when the car is on, that the screen isn't turning on. I think I messed up something in the coding, so I'm going to have Isaac from Bimmer Geeks bail me out on that one. So let's start by plugging the original seat module into the F80 seat and see if that solves some of these issues.
Where are you going?
I don't know. It still has my old preset saved.
Oh, really?
All right, so I just cleared some errors. Let's do a test. All right, cool. Our airbag light went away, so that's good too. I'm gonna have Isaac check it out just to make sure everything's good. Sweet. Just wish the screen worked. I haven't seen the dash that error-free in a long time. No errors found.
Wow.
Yes! I have errors for 5 years. For you, we got rid of them. So another thing is the back passenger window hasn't worked in 4 years, but we got new parts, they just came in, so let's throw them in. Oh my gosh, my window works.
Yes. It's Kerry Getz.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up?
It's Kerry's new part. What's going on?
Alright, and then go back into the coding.
Just that?
And then, yeah, that should be good. Put that on the other one, the M underscore whatever.
Hey, there we go.
We set the one option to the ID6 light.
All right, we just finished coding the last surprise. If you take a look at my screen, I haven't had a backup camera in 3 or 4 years, and boom, we finally have it. Why didn't we do this 4 years ago, Zach? Oh, I can't believe it works. All right, so at this point, all of the electrical gremlins are resolved. I have been stressing over this for like 4 weeks now, and I feel so at ease right now that not only does everything work, even the heated seats work in the F80 seats, which is awesome. The backup camera works, which hasn't worked in like 4 years. BimmerTech actually stepped in to help with the camera. They originally coded the system, so they had some crazy way to do it. Isaac and Dylan at Bimmer Geeks, these guys are stinking coding ninjas and heroes. They literally spent 5 hours with me yesterday. 5 hours. Zach didn't even want to spend 5 hours with me. I will say, the reason that I haven't done it in so long is I have a little bit of an issue asking for help. I really needed it at this point, and those two guys completely put aside whatever they had on a super busy Monday morning, and they just blasted through the day with me. And even when I was like, okay, I think this will work, they're like, no, we're gonna do it extra. And I was like, if you guys have the time, we will definitely take the help. So huge thanks to you guys. If you guys want Pro Tool for your car, we're gonna have links for it down in the description. It's the only software we use anymore for diagnostics and coding, and we have a ton of videos coming up on our other channel, Kies, DIYs, and Extras. But now, we got the BMW i4 back from the body shop, and while it was there, I said, hey, I wanna do it in white. You're painting the i4 M50 in Alpine white. Can you just spray this too? They said yes, and I said, how much? And they said, we're not even gonna charge you. I said, you guys are awesome. Everybody's awesome. I love everybody. So what we're gonna do now, this came out amazing, and we had it set perfectly so we don't have to adjust anything. We're just gonna drop it in, bolt it down, call it a day. So let's pop the hood and throw on the freshly painted Alpine white strut brace on my F30 335.
Pop the hood.
Pop the hood. At this point, it is time for me to finally put the radio and head unit and that whole piece of the dash back together. Got a whole bunch of screws for that. Zach is going to reassemble the trunk, which has been apart for 3 years. So at this time, let's divide, conquer, and get this thing back together. Alright, so in today's video, we fixed the electrical gremlins. We put a new intake on. We have our freshly Alpine white painted strut brace. Over here, we finished putting the interior back together. I still can't believe that everything works on this car, including the backup camera, because we went a little bit nuts there with the electrical gremlins, but we have solved it, which is amazing. We have the leather dash, the F80 interior. We have to do some spring cleaning here because we've been in and out of the car a lot. We have the Kies fire extinguisher mount. We have carbon backs on the seat. We have everything except for one of these stinking things. I gotta get a new one because I don't know what happened to it. So I'm gonna buy one of those. Other than that, this car is getting ready to go out the door and we are super amped, but we aren't done yet because we have a few more things that we need to do before we can give the car to one of you guys. Once again, if you guys are interested in entering to win my F30 335, there is no purchase necessary, but if you want to amplify your chances of winning, you can pick up some of the merch that is linked down for you down below. It has eligible items like skate decks, it has t-shirts, keychains, and more. But like we said, be sure to come back for the next video because, believe it or not, there are still things to be done on our F30 335 before we give it away to one of you. Once again, that's Zach behind the camera. My name is Brian. Thanks for watching Kies Motorsports. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. Check us out at KiesMotorsports.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.